Hi everyone, Marla Miller from marlamiller.com, and this is Quick Query Critique number 79 or maybe even 80. This is a redo of a query letter that was read in a workshop that I just taught in Orange County called the Southern California Writers Association, SCWA. Anyway, I had a wonderful time there, and this writer pitched a query that I thought had potential, needed a little reworking, so I invited her to redo it, resubmit it, and I would give her my take here at Quick Query Critique, and that's what I'm going to do right now. This is a memoir. Okay. Dear Agent, 7 years ago, I married the Hall of Fame Oscar-winning songwriter Blank and finally got it right. I also had time to write. After telling and retelling my wince-worthy life, I decided to write down the grueling truths. Hey, why is everyone laughing? Please consider my 30,000-word memoir, It Sucks to Be Vain and Poor, for publication. Instead of chronological sequence, the book is laid out into categories. Shakespeare said, tragedy plus time equals comedy. Maybe not enough time has gone by, but I sliced my gut and spilled it on every page anyway. It begins with running away to the Beverly Hilton Hotel and hiding out in a banquet room, ending up at the police station. The craziness continues at a Mexican university where I graduated with a degree in psychology. Next came a career as a professional musician, performing in LA, Japan, and even Casablanca. I have two remarkable children. One got her master's degree before she was 23. Meanwhile, her brother was in the grips of a heroin addiction. Does that disqualify me from being Mother of the Year? Am I good at marriage because I was married 4 times, or just accustomed to the aisle since my dad was married 6 times? In 10 years, I've earned 2 honorable mentions from Blank Competition for my personal essays, Daddy's Last Ride, and 1700 for lunch, no problema. My novel, Blank, won a 2011 National Indie Excellence Award. I was a finalist in the acclaimed storytelling competition, Blank Grand Slam, performing the title story, It Sucks to Be Vain and Poor. Thank you for taking the time to review my work. I've attached 20 pages. Sincerely. Okay. What do I think? Well, I think it's good. I think she's there. A couple of things. So I will just make mention of that. I want her to take a look at the second paragraph, where she says, instead of chronological sequence, because I'm familiar with this, with the formatting of this book, just because we chatted about it at the workshop, which is another reason why it's valuable to meet with people in real time. But anyway, I digress. But I know that this memoir is kind of a collection of short stories within the memoir, and I think that's fine. She identifies it as the book being laid out in categories. I would add one more sentence there. Just give me a couple of categories. I think that would be helpful. Just so we can kind of visually see it. I'm assuming that the categories are titled. My guess would be those titles are funny or at least are in keeping with the voice of this query letter, which is funny. Poignant also. And then what else did I have here? You know, I actually think that is all that I'm going to say about this. You know, sometimes when you have a query letter, and keep this in mind, when you have a query letter that's good enough, and I do believe that this one is good enough to pitch, you know, you can always go in and touch it up a little bit more. You know how sometimes, you know, you'll look at a chapter that you've written or an article, and the more time that you have, the more time you'll tinker with it, and sometimes you'll do that to the disservice of the piece. I think that this is good enough for an agent to tell that this is a memoir, that has a very realistic feel to it, in that, yes, it's funny, because, you know, when shit happens, sometimes it's just funny. And yes, it's also poignant. This woman has 2 children who took very different tracks in life. She also comes by marriage through the role modeling of at least a father who did it, you know, a lot. And so that makes it for funny, but also we're interested, aren't we? And because she starts this out by saying, After four times, she finally got it right. Now, I'm going to talk to you just a little bit. So I would tell this writer, go ahead and send this. I also have 2 agents' names that I would be glad to share with you, who I think you might want to pitch it to. Um, Okay, so now let me talk about in the opening paragraph, she identifies her hubby, who is a fairly well known musician, and who we haven't heard much from lately, but he's got a very recognizable name, which is why I left it anonymous here. Now, let's just talk a little bit about celebrity hooking. When she first pitched this query letter to me, she added that, I think it was like the last sentence or the second to the last sentence, and I told her to put it up top. Now, I wouldn't have told her to put it up top if I didn't think that the memoir had merit, but I knew that there was something here because she's a very good writer. Her voice is wonderful, funny. It was funny then, it's funny now. And so I just encouraged her to put it up top because it's just an extra added incentive for the agent to keep reading. But once this agent reads this, I think that several of them will like it all on its own. But the fact that this woman has a celebrity husband is helpful. It's going to help her in her platform building. It's going to help her in her networking, and you use what you can use in this writing life. All of us, absolutely all of us do that. So that's all I'm going to say about this. I've gone on enough. I like it very much. Again, if you would like the names of 2 agents, I can't promise anything, but you guys know that when I do see a query letter that gets my attention, I like to pass that good news on to agents. So if she wants to know the names of the agents, just send me an email at marketingthemuse@gmail.com, and I will share that with her. I hope this was helpful. Until the next time, keep writing.